Old MacDonald had a farm
E-I-E-I-O.
with a papa
Here,
and a papa
there.
everywhere a papa. I don't remember the rest of the song. Cue the music. Hello, and welcome to Don't Evolve Me, the place like Ash, Customs, Pikachu. We don't evolve, we just level up. Brandon, hello.
Hello.
We are talking The Boys today, and I will at least do the Acolyte by myself. If not, Donald will be joining us. Brandon, were you ready to sing a song this morning?
I mean, my singing wasn't really a song, but I was
I don't know if I could say mine was either.
but it wasn't the worst cold open that I've been a part of. At least I knew what I was supposed to do.
What was number one?
Oh, I don't know. There's been a couple where I just had no idea what to even say to
Just
you.
blanked.
Yep.
I mean, I blanked on just the song. I'm like, shoot, I don't sing this song often enough. I should have I have kids,
Yep.
but I work at a school. You think that would translate, but no, it does not. So Brandon, hello. We missed you the last, I think preview and the first 4 episodes of
Yeah.
The Boys.
Yeah.
The preview's fine because you're all playing Warhammer.
Yep.
And winning. So
Yep.
cheers to you on that.
Thank you. Coffee cheers.
In preview, we had you on, but I know you definitely wanted to talk about episode 5, and I think this is the episode that's definitely worth it for you to talk about because this is kind of like, I don't know if this is going to be the Gen 5 episode, but very much a Gen 5 episode.
Gen B. Who calls it Gen 5?
Sorry, I think in Roman numerals. Apparently.
You just called it Gen V a second ago, then you started calling it Gen 5 all of a sudden.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I have like that version of like dyslexia where like I switch the word, like I do the opposite of what I mean. I would say, hey, like I did it yesterday. I was like, hey, look to your right, and I meant left.
Mm-hmm. That's not confusing at all.
No,
I'm just kidding.
The funny thing is, I was with a dyslexic person, and he looked left, so it worked out.
Oh, there you go. So two lefts do make a right. All right.
Well, yeah, but not 4, or doesn't. I don't know. All right, so let's talk about. Well, let's get into what are you nerding out on.
The Pokemon MMO mostly, and some One Piece still. Slowly working our way to the finish line.
Okay, let's talk One Piece because this is one of the first times I know I've done this before. I kind of stopped with One Piece this week.
Wow,
Falling
behind.
I finished Dressrosa.
Oh, that's good. What'd you think?
So it was good. I understand why you said it's up there. I don't know if I'd put it up there because I think Water 7.
Did you completely they've left Dressrosa?
Yeah, we're on the Silver Mine now. I think that's the last episode.
Okay, yeah, that's a little filler part. I think the Silver Mine stuff.
Yeah, it kind of felt that way. I haven't looked at the list of what is filler, what's not filler, in case I wanted to skip it. I'm just kind of going forward with it.
It's only a couple episodes, I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was 4. We finished one of them, but we kind of stopped there. One of the reasons why is because I've been watching so much TV lately with The Boys, Acolyte, House of Dragons. It's kind of been
busy,
taking up my busy. And also just One Piece is so long, the arcs are so long, and at this point they're just getting longer.
Yep.
I know Whole Cake, is that the next arc?
Island.
The next big arc? It's 80 episodes?
Yeah, that one, it's not quite as long.
Yeah. But then after that it's Wano, and that's 200 plus.
Yep. But then you're done. Or caught up.
Basically. Yeah, I know. But it's you gotta pace yourself a little bit. At least that's how I'm feeling with it. But it was good. It was up there. I think it's definitely an argument for best saga, best arc.
Mm.
I'm still sitting on where I'd put it. I think it is Water 7 and Marineford. Marineford just it didn't feel like One Piece, but it was just so much.
Yeah.
Lore, so much happening in that arc alone.
Yeah.
So I feel like that one, I don't know, between those two are up there, but Dressrosa is a third.
I really enjoyed Dressrosa. I think Doflamingo is one of the best villains in the whole show.
I mean, he is
Mm.
a sadistic asshole, to
Yep.
put it kindly. Like yeah. But I like One Piece for the fact that like they always explain their characters, even if like you don't even want it, they'll give it to you,
Yep.
and you'll be like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're good at sympathizing with villains and stuff like that, or like showing empathy
Yeah.
towards people that normally
Mhm.
you would just write off as completely evil, but there was some,
Yeah.
reasons and motives behind things.
Mhm. Like I get why he was an evil piece of shit, but he's still an evil piece of shit. Which Homelander, I mean, is on that line too
Yeah.
with episode 4. You're like, oh, that's why he's a piece of. That's why he's a monster.
Yep.
Still a fucking monster, and he still deserves all the horrible things that may
Doesn't
or may not come to
excuse what
him.
they've done, but yeah, it definitely explains things.
Yeah. Let's talk Pokemon MMO for a moment because I know that's something that I kind of like was hoping to get you on it, and
Yep.
then you definitely got on it,
Yep.
and now you're already ahead of me.
Yeah, it's your fault. I never would have known this thing existed if it wasn't for you. Now here I am.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I'll take the blame.
It's kind of three regions down. I beat Hone, Unova, and Johto. I'm on Sinnoh right now. I'm
Nice.
saving Kanto for last.
Kanto for last. I feel like that
Yep.
might be the shortest one too.
Yep.
And you're going hard. I haven't finished a single one. I went back to Johto for a little bit, and then I realized I had to beat Ho-Oh, and I'm like,
That
even with all my Pokemon at 48, I'm like,
that was a tough fight.
yikes.
That was a tough fight. I did it yesterday. Start summons all
It's
3 of the legendary dogs and even
yeah, I'm
revives
like
one
that.
time. Yep. I first tried it, but it was tough. I didn't think I was going to. I didn't
And
know
then
what to
you're level
expect.
capped at 48.
Yep. Yep.
So I think that was my stopping point, and I haven't touched it since, but been busy.
I've first
Um,
tried all 3 of the Elite Four so far, and I want to continue that to the end. That's my goal, just by
okay,
being as prepared as I can. So,
nice. Anything else on the nerding out?
not really. Just been busy with that stuff and work. And
That's fair. For me, Minecraft Stadium, I continued on that. I got a lot done yesterday. That's a bigger project than I ever imagined, but it's looking great. I won't show it off on this site or this channel until it's like complete.
yep.
Like it's gonna be completed before I show, but I'll show off to like friends, and then from there, TV shows. Oh, I did put One Piece. I just put it as Dressrosa. Finished Dressrosa.
Okay. That
All
is
right,
an
let's get into the
accomplishment.
news. Yes, get into the news. All right, first bit of news. I had this on last week, but you weren't here, so like, it wasn't. No one could really react to it. Invincible.
Mm.
There is rumors that it's probably coming out early 2025.
Oh, okay. I mean,
The
that's still
when it,
like 8 months away, 9 months away, or something like that.
I believe it was one of the original illustrators mentioned that he expects it early 25, but he also is like, I don't know anything. I'm not like I'm not the official person. I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble, but I expect it early 25,
Okay.
2025.
I mean, that'd be good. It'd be nice to not have to wait many years again. It keeps the hype
I
train
hope
rolling.
so.
You know.
Apparently, I think it's one of the shows that you mentioned. It was the Superman show. I forget what it's called.
Uh,
My
the cartoon
Adventures with
Superman. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Daily Adventures of
Uh,
Superman.
Apparently, the current like arc and season of that show is very familiar to what season 3 will be like,
Okay.
rather than an article. But apparently, according to the article I read, they expect Invincible to be a lot better and more in tune, but
Yeah,
similar storyline.
I did say I will say that the Daily Adventures of Superman was pretty good for the first handful of episodes I watched. I don't think I watched
Yes,
all of it, but it wasn't bad.
I should watch that
It's kind
show.
of a refreshing take on Superman.
Yeah. We got One Piece news. Did you see the One Piece news?
What one? The casting news?
Yeah, they casted like most of Baroque works.
Yeah, I did see it. I didn't really look at who they cast, but I did see the news
Did
about
you
it.
did you see the big name?
Maybe what was the big name?
Okay, so there's actually two big names. One's rumored. The one's like the one that everyone's trying to get, and that is Jamie Lee Curtis
As
for
yeah,
Kira.
yep, I've heard that she
Mhm.
wanted to and stuff before.
Yep. But the big name that they cast was Dave Dasmulshin. I completely butchered his name. He's Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay.
Curtis from Ant Man. He's gonna play Mister Three.
Okay, yeah. I think that's good casting.
Yeah, I'm like, it's probably the biggest name that's on the show so far, and I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
I'm excited. I would almost want him as I'm Bon Voy,
Bon Clay.
Bon Clay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm like Bon Clay. I'm like, that's like the one that I first thought of. I'm like, ooh, he'd
Yeah.
be good for that. And I saw Mister Three. I'm like, well, they're very similar in that regard.
Yeah, they are very
But I'm like,
kind of similar characters in a
mhm,
way.
I'm excited for that episode.
Yeah, oh yeah. The
Like,
on whiskey.
is it Whiskey Island? No, it was on it was before that. It was on the garden with the
Oh,
two giants.
yeah. No, that's after they meet him, isn't it? Because I guess are we talking about two different parts? I'm thinking about the part when they first meet Baroque Works and
Yeah,
Zorro takes like all of them out.
that could be. I'm
Yeah.
blanking on
Okay.
these string events. So, I'm looking at the other news and I have it in the order that I didn't want to do it. Did you see the new Deadpool trailer?
No.
Oh,
As it starts to get close to like movies and stuff, I try to like avoid watching that stuff because I already want to see the movie. I don't need more, you know, spoilers
you're gonna be
for
my
the movie
are you gonna be my Deadpool guy?
to go see it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
You're gonna come see it with me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. I haven't seen a movie in theaters in a long time.
Okay, that's going to be your homework for the next 2 weeks. Can I spoil the little bit of news?
Yeah.
The little trailer.
Yeah.
They revealed that Sabretooth. They revealed the precursor fighting scene of Sabretooth versus Wolverine. And
Okay.
it's freaking hilarious. It seems like it was like the first moment they like met or like had their first fight scene. It looks great. Like the more I see, the more they reveal, I am very much like excited about this movie. Like
Did they
it
get
looks like it's going to be great.
Liev Schreiber to play Sabretooth again? Or is it
I
more
it
like the original
looks
Sabretooth guy
it looks like the original Sabretooth.
from like the original
That's
X-Men movies?
but I thought Liev Schreiber was going to be the Sabretooth for this movie.
I do love him as an actor. I think he's great.
Yeah,
And
he was great. He was like the best part of
yeah, I
Origins.
was just gonna say, yeah, he was like the best part of Origins was his
Mhm.
Sabretooth.
I don't I don't it, I thought he was going to be the movie. It didn't look like him.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Especially it's probably only going to be a few minutes or something like that. I doubt he'll even be a
Mhm.
big character, so that's fair. But I do like Liv Schreiber. Liev Schreiber.
All right. Big last parting news. Eric Kripke was talking about
Eric
Supernatural.
Kripke.
Yes. He
Yeah.
was talking about Supernatural and about the ending. And one of the big things he was talking about was how he was going to end. He wanted to end Supernatural after 5 seasons. And someone asked
Originally
him if the
3.
boys. Someone asked him about the boys, and or like when this first started after the first season, he said 5 seasons. But recently he was talking about how he was like, no, 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 I'm the worst person to ask. Let's look at Supernatural. It went on for 15. Like it went on 10 plus years than I thought. So I'm the wrong person to ask. But they did confirm that it's ending after season 5.
I
It has been confirmed.
I think that is probably for the best. Honestly,
Yes, yes.
I
I
think
think most of
Supernatural
the
is one of
story.
my favorite shows of all time, and I'm glad that
Mhm,
it is what it is. But it definitely peaked at season 5, and it probably like if it would have
mhm.
ended there, it would probably be held a lot higher in people's regards.
Yeah, and he's a lot more watchable.
Yep, yep. But I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I've watched it multiple times. I'll
Mhm.
watch it again.
So Eric Kripke was talking about how he would have ended Supernatural. Someone asked him how he would have ended it, and said one they did talk to me about the ending, and I told him if I could write a better ending, I'll send it to you. And then his response was after a few days was, I couldn't come up with a better ending. I think you got it right. But then went on to talk about how if he ended Supernatural, people wouldn't like his ending because it was super dark. And he said this recently, and it made me think like The Boys is going to be a super depressing ending, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I'm expecting a slaughter of like most of the characters except for like I have like 3 I think are going to make it, maybe 4.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it going down like that. Even like a almost apocalyptic style ending where
Mhm.
like, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of hope, like the good guys may have prevailed, but like the destruction that's left in its wake and stuff is gonna be crazy, I bet.
Necessary.
Yeah.
What? So yeah, that was the big news. And also Jensen I wrote ankles.
don't
Jensen ankles.
don't hate on my boy like that.
Him, Jared, and Jeffrey D. Morgan, they all got matching tattoos for Supernatural, and it seems like Jared's coming for season 5.
Yeah, I heard it's like all what confirmed. I mean, he's gotten pretty much everyone else that has all the other main characters except for like Crowley. Well, no,
Yeah,
has Mark Shepard
Crawley
been in The Boys?
sounds
Like
familiar
almost
now.
I almost feel like
Well, how about this?
he could have had a cameo in there. Wouldn't surprise me.
How about this? How about this? You look it up. I gotta go take a break,
Okay,
and we'll be right back.
sounds good.
All right, we're back. Brandon, what'd you find?
Mark Shepard has not been in The Boys yet. I do think
Oh,
he could fit perfectly though. He's like one of my favorite actors. Do you know who he is, right? The
um,
Crowley, the British
I've
guy.
yeah, I've seen. So I've only watched up to Isaac's calling. Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Isaac.
Big
Yeah,
supporter, friend of the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
I'm not answering his phone call.
And you're
I
live.
so and I'm live. Well, kind of
Yeah.
recording. I have not made any progress in my own watching of Supernatural. I stopped at season 4, which I really should probably
At least finish season 5.
finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But wife big
Yeah.
fan of Supernatural. So at one point she was watching, I think I don't know, she did it in like weird order. She like at one point was watching season 7, then jumped to season 9, then
The
went back to season
the
8.
last time I watched it backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've done that with a few shows.
Okay. Okay.
Watched it season
So
by season backwards.
I don't remember which season Crawley's in, but I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I
I think he
know who
pops
Mark
in like
Shepard is.
season 3.
I've seen him. Is he season? Okay. I've seen him.
Yeah, I think
So I know
yeah.
of him.
I did find
All right.
something else out that I found kind of interesting. I didn't
Oh,
realize so you probably don't know who Kevin is from Supernatural, but he's a pretty big character later on in the show. And
what's his name?
Kevin Tran.
Character.
That's his name
Uh
in Supernatural.
oh no,
Yep,
no.
yep.
Okay.
He's a pretty big character later
That's
on.
familiar.
But I didn't realize it. He's the one that plays Black Noir now. The one that got cast.
Is he?
Yeah.
Was he recasted? I thought it was the same actor.
No, it's a different actor now.
It's a completely different actor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Now he's
I thought it
got
was the
like
same actor who played him
voice.
last season.
Yeah, no, because now he's got like voice roles and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think I
Interesting.
don't think he
Okay.
played him before, but he is the
Yeah.
one that plays him now.
Is I feel like I'm trying to think how to phrase this. Is he black?
No, he's Asian.
He's Asian.
Yeah.
Okay. I asked because like in the show, they made a point where like, hey, we have 2 black members in
Yes,
the
they did
7
say
and
that.
a black adjacent character.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is the show? The show they're black at it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
a good thing, yeah.
I'm like, well, the original I thought the original actor was still playing Black Noir. So I'm like, well,
Yeah, no, apparently
I'm
not.
like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either, but that's funny.
I think he's still I think he does the body work of Black Noir.
Maybe, or maybe, I mean, I could see him playing somebody else too. Do we ever even see his face?
No,
That's what I thought.
we're not even supposed to hear him talk. Apparently,
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, not originally, but
Yeah. Okay. Let's recap on the boys a
Yep,
little
yep.
bit since this is your first time being on. What's your thoughts on season 4? Just episode 1 through 4. Not so much 5 yet.
I mean, I've been enjoying it. It's
Mhm.
definitely, I don't know, it's different this season. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, does it seem strange?
yeah, like something's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just like not as grandeur. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that we're like lacking like the new kind of villain in a way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is, that it just doesn't feel quite,
Well,
because like
that was like one of the first TikTok questions I had was, does it seem off to you? Does it seem strange? Because it felt like a different
a
show.
little bit, like it's still the boys, but yeah, it just got like something a little bit
Mhm.
different going on. I can't quite pinpoint it.
I mean, it doesn't help that looks weird now.
Yeah,
They said like he just shaved. I'm like, no, the dude's like
yeah,
thin.
he lost like 50 pounds or something like that.
Like, and then Starlight, Erin Moriarty, like I don't know what she did to her face, but like it's clearly different. Like she also looks like super thin too.
Yeah, I think
So
the
you have these two
buccal fat
characters.
removal where they like suck the fat out of your cheeks. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's really
it
popular. Yeah,
looks.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I don't think most star. I don't see anyone be like, yeah, she looks so much better now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean
I
she's
kind of
still
like. It's
very
one of those
pretty.
things
Don't
like
get
I
me
don't.
wrong, but yeah,
Yeah. It's like one of those things like I don't really want to touch it because I'm like I don't want to criticize her
yeah,
for too much, but it does it's off.
mm,
But I also think like there was a time skip, so there's a little bit of like Butcher's no longer in charge.
mm,
That was the same case in like season 3, but he's still like in charge of the team. On top of the fact that like there's just a new power dynamic because
mm,
like Starlight is now on the team. Like they don't the boys themselves don't act like a co-op team. They act as like a superhero team from like a CW show. Like
yeah, a
that's
little bit.
what it
Yeah,
kind of.
they're not going and shoving C4 up people's asses and blowing them up anymore.
No, they're like, oh, the city's in trouble. Let's go save them. And then like MM's like punching people
Yeah,
like on the
yeah,
streets. I'm like, what are you doing in the open? You're like you're a CIA operative.
right. Like at like the
You work
top of
in the
the chain. Yeah, you're out there fighting street thugs.
yeah. So there's just like there's some like writing too that just feels a little bit worse. But I still I gave it a 4 minus. What did you give it so
I
far
think
for
around
season
there
4?
because there's definitely like points that I'm like really interested in still.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'd say around there too, probably.
Yeah, I'm like it's still a great show. It's still like there's just I would say so far from what I see, it seems like it's going to be the worst season, but that doesn't mean it's a bad
Yeah,
season.
it could end on a really big note, and I think if anything, it's building up for season 5, which is a little bit
Yeah.
unfortunate when you're in it, but it's
Mhm.
going to hopefully be worth it once season 5 comes out. It all comes to a
Yeah,
head.
you hope so. I don't know. I think traditionally shows that like their season before the last season, if it ends strongly, typically that's like the best bet rather than sacrificing a season to build another season.
Mm.
But we'll see. Who's your MVP?
So far,
Episode 1 through 4. Yeah.
oh,
Me and Tom, we figured it out.
okay. I haven't really even thought about this. Hmm. I feel like everyone is kind of just like shitty.
Everyone but one.
Everyone
But
won,
one.
but one.
And the one
I mean,
is the one I give the
I
MVP
mean,
to.
there is one person that is like going through redemption, kind of,
Mhm,
and that's A Train. And I kind of
mhm,
saw it coming before. I felt like he would,
mhm.
he deserved it
Yeah.
almost. So is that who you gave it to? Yeah.
Yeah, it was A Train. Tom had no like hesitation. I'm like, I feels weird giving it to A Train, but I'm like, A Train, he's the best character. I thought it was either him or the Deep going on this redemption arc. That was kind of like I talked about it in the preview a lot. Was the Deep, A Train? They're both like on this weird redemption arc.
Mhm.
A Train was at first like was selfish in his redemption arc,
Mm.
whereas the Deep was stupid listening to other people. But like you kind of just felt bad for him.
It does kind of seem like they diverted now, though, because I wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
I feel like the Deep like doubled down at this point instead of continuing on like
I
becoming a
I
good
will
person.
suck a cock.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he doubled down.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's willing to do
I mean,
that. Whereas
he
Adrian's just like,
murdered those people with Noir, just and baseball bats and stuff. He didn't have no problem with that.
what are your thoughts on New Noir?
One of the best additions to the show. Just having somebody there that's just kind of like questioning things, even if it's
But
quietly,
still
and
doing it.
yeah, still like no hesitation, like he just murdered the crap out of them. It's like that was really messed
I
up,
just
guys.
I love the joke though, because he's an actor. He's like, guys, what's my motivation? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what I should be doing here. And everyone's like, shut up.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
just don't talk. Yeah, just exist.
Don't talk.
Yeah.
They're like, what's my motivation? You're a silent murdering psychopath. Like, that's your motivation. Just every time. Shut up. Not supposed to talk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that.
I'm excited to see where that
What
goes.
Me too. What moments stood out to you so far?
I mean, the part where they did kill the three dudes in the supporters or whatever of Homelander baseball bats, that part does definitely sticks with me. Yeah, I'm kind of drawing a blank as far as like there's a lot of littler things. What else?
There's
what other
a
big,
lot of shit happening.
yeah.
I mean, Homelander straight
Yeah,
up just murdering people
yeah.
like left and right. Homelander massacring his old like the lab he's from.
That was pretty messed up.
Like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, Anthony Starr, he improvised that whole laugh at the end. Like that was not in the script. He just went at it. I still don't know if that dude like in real life is a piece of shit or if he's like actually a good person. But like anytime I see like interviews or like people talk, like everyone seems like they love and enjoy him. But like it seems like he just acts like Homelander in real life too.
You know, have you ever heard of Auntie Donna's House of Fun? Auntie Donna is a sketch group. They have a show on Netflix that they got, and they have a sketch with Anthony Starr in it. And you just need to watch that one part with him in it, and it's so great, especially when you think about him as like Homelander, because that's what we just picture him as.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it, but you should look it up when you have a chance. Maybe I'll send it to you.
What is that again?
Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun. It's a great sketch show too. It's super funny. It's one of my favorites.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. All right. I kind of I gave you a choice for the cold open between nursery rhyme or poem, and you chose nursery rhyme. But I did want to mention the poem because the title of the episode is "Beware the Jabberwock, my son," and I wanted to look it up because I'm like, the first thing that reminded me of was the Wabbajack from Skyrim. And I thought it was maybe like an Alice in Wonderland like reference because Alice in Wonderland, like that was a reference in Skyrim. And it's just the weapon that like literally just does random shit. It's kind of cool. But it wasn't that. It was Jabberwock, and I'm like, what's the reference? I know it's referring to something. It's actually referring to a poem.
Okay.
Wait, I gotta pull it up real quick. So it's a poem by Lewis Carroll called Jabberwocky. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it. "'Twas brillick, and the slithy toves did gear and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the jaws that catch. Beware the Jubjubber and the shun, the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the man foe he sought. So rested he by the tum tree and stood a while in thought." And I'm not going to butcher this poem any further.
That was a mouthful.
I didn't read this beforehand, and I'm reading this. I'm like,
oh man,
I do not.
I don't even know what
There's
it's
so
saying.
many words, but it like. I might have to look this up afterwards and maybe like add my 2 cents into it. But it's referring to this poem, and I thought it was just interesting. And I'm like wondering what the Jabberwock is. Like, I almost just want to like Google see like image. Maybe there's like an image okay, everything that's pulling up is a dragon.
Okay.
So I was just curious. I thought it was a really interesting title. And I'm like, how does this refer to this episode? And let's talk about it. So the first little bit of this episode is Hughie Sr. I forget that his name is actually Hughie because I was wondering what his dad's name is. Hughie Sr. wakes up from his coma, and his mom basically said, like, hey, I saw that you had the V, and I injected it with him. Which I kind of wish Hughie did it.
Yeah.
Because he decided not to. He decided to let his dad go, and his mom did it. And I felt like this was a good moment that had a lot of costly stakes for Hughie. So let's kind of just go bit by bit, and let's talk about this arc in its full entirety. So spoiler alerts if you haven't watched this episode. Also, why are you listening to this if you haven't watched it yet?
That's fair.
So Hughie Senior wakes up. He's looks great, seems great. Like he almost seems like he has more energy than he's ever had in his life.
Yep.
Right. He's up. He's walking. Him and his dad kind of talk through some things. It seems like this moment had that bonding moment that they were needed for the last 20 years. Right. His dad. Hughie asked his dad, why did you trust me with this decision? Like, I am your closest relative. Why didn't you trust me? And his dad basically said, like, you do not have the will to kill. You do not have the will to let it go. And they referenced the bunny. I forget the bunny's name.
Jar Jar. How could you forget
Jar
that?
Jar. I knew it was something.
I'm sorry.
You know, man.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah. He referenced Jar Jar. He's like, you let Jar Jar die. You let Jar Jar die in a horrific way, and I felt like that would have been me. And I didn't want to be Jar Jar. And I thought it was just a really good point because like the show is hinting at Butcher, right? Like that's the theme, like the overall theme. Like, hey, you're holding on to Butcher.
Yep.
You have to let him go. Like he's not good for you. And of course, shit goes bad. They cut back to it. He's not there. And they find him in a room. He has a heart in his hand. He's super confused. And they tease the fact that like there was something wrong with him. They didn't reveal too much from the initial scene, but then shit went crazy. He's phasing in and out of people. He's just going on a massacre. And then his memory is almost like backwards, where like he remembers the time where Huey's 11 and he is like references, I have to go get a Tech Knight doll. And then he sees Daphne, the mom, and he's just like, I'm gonna murder you. And it's kind of scary. And it ends with the moment where Hughie has to defend his mom. And like there was a moment too between Hughie and mom where like, or the last episode 4, where she basically said like, yeah, I let you guys go, but like I had to leave. I was gonna kill myself, like post-mortem, like I just couldn't be here, and your dad wouldn't let me come back. And it was just like a really tragic family moment because they finally had that connecting moment and then ripped away. Like it's very much written in that regard. And Hughie defends mom, and then dad basically, like once he comes to, they all pretty much agree that like they have to kill him.
Yep, have to let him go.
What was your thoughts on all of that?
It's so sad. It's all so sad.
Yeah. I also want to say Sean Penn finally got something to do.
You mean?
Wait,
yeah,
Sean
I was
Penn.
gonna say.
Simon
Yeah,
Pegg.
I was gonna say.
Simon Pegg.
I was like, "With Sean Penn?"
I said it. I was like, wait.
Yeah. He got to stretch those acting chops because he really pulled it out there.
I wonder if he like asked if he could just like get out, or if like, because I thought the killing off Simon Pegg, Huey's dad, it felt like a lot of much. I also had one question, like both Starlight and Huey are going through shit right now. And this is where like my suspension of like disbelief, like his mom gives him the engagement ring for Starlight, but like she's not there.
Yeah.
And he's not there for Starlight. And I thought it was just an interesting, like, is this like a writer thing where they just missed on this moment where they should be together, or is this like they're as a couple not that strong? Because it seems like they're dealing with their own
Right. They're
shit
kind of, yeah,
separately.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of
So
interesting.
there's that scene, and I actually really liked. I didn't like that like Huey's going through even more shit now, and he had to lose his dad. But I also like what it means. The overall theme: you have to let go. You have to let go of toxic people. You have to let go of toxic situations. Like you can't just let it grow to be this ugly thing. And I'm like curious. It feels like he's gonna have to let somebody go. And I know I said Butcher already, but I'm just curious what it's going to look like.
I mean, Butcher has to make it to the end, right? Like, I mean, he obviously probably is going to die at the end, but he's got to make it to the end of the show, right?
He's making it to the end of season 4.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to make it to the end of the show. I feel like something's got to give. I know he's like looking real rough, but I think something's gonna pop out and give him that last bit, because there's no way like season 5 without him in it would be a travesty.
I don't know how I feel about that, because like obviously I think Carl Urban having Butcher to the very end of the show seems like the right idea, but also they would subvert so many expectations if he dies this season.
Yeah, I could see a fake out
But I
death
do,
at the end of the season.
yeah, but I do agree though. Like it probably ends with Butcher dying.
Well, at least let the man get, you know, his revenge before he goes. He might not deserve it, but you know, at least let him do the thing that he's been trying to do this whole time.
Maybe he goes to kill, like he goes to sacrifice himself, and Huey's like, no, and then he's like, beware the Jabberwock, my son, and he's like, oh, I'll let you go now, or something along the lines. Is this the B story? Like this got to be the B story, right?
Of this
The
episode.
A, yeah, because the A story was very much the boys going to try to get Compound B, the virus.
Yeah, I almost feel like that was more B story.
It felt like a B story.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they were both almost B stories this week a little bit.
It kind of feels. I know I keep seeing people say that this is filler episode, and I don't think this is a filler episode, because like what they're doing progresses the story in many ways, whereas filler is just filler. But I will say the writing on this episode felt very fillery, and it's a new time writer. I looked. It's Judalina and Nira. We don't usually look up a whole lot of writers, but I was curious because I'm like, this episode felt off, because there's just many like moments where they're like traveling from like one farm building to another farm building, and they're just walking in the woods,
Yep.
and they're like paired up in six, and they're all having these like conversations, and I'm like, this just doesn't feel like it just feels forced, you know, like, hey, we're walking together, we're gonna talk now. I'm like, yeah, they just witnessed somebody die, you know, they're with somebody who can blow their head up in any fucking moment. Like,
Yeah.
why does this feel so
So
much more
casual.
relaxing?
Yeah, so casual. Yeah, right. It seems like
And also
the
just
stakes should have been a little higher.
and like you had the boys there, you had Edgar, who's like the leader of VOD there, as well as Victoria Newman, who's like a big player. Like it just like this is such a B story for this group of characters.
It almost starts to make it a little confusing, like who. I mean, I guess it is supposed to be kind of confusing who the bad guys are, but like at some point, it kind of just feels like everyone's the bad guy.
Yeah, especially this season,
Yeah,
'cause it, like, you know, like outside of like Frenchie, we learned that he murdered like somebody, and like we murdered someone's like entire family.
yeah. Well, murder. I mean, he's murdered a lot of people, but yeah, he's
Yes,
just fine. His guilt is
and
catching
then
up to him
like,
after hooking up with a
and he
guy.
felt guilt. Well, he was guilty before, and then he's like, "All right, I'm gonna make up." He's like, "Oh, this person's such a lost soul, and they're so great, so let's fuck them," and then reveal it. And I'm like, "Do you just realize that like the guy responded, you're a psychopath?" I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's fucking psychopathic shit. Like if you murdered someone's entire family, you felt guilty, and it was like, I'm gonna try to make up for it, but you know, instead of just revealing my nature or what happened and explaining it, I'm gonna fuck you first, and like fuck, like it wasn't purposeful,
yep,
but I'm like, it's so fucked up.
yeah. It is.
So it's like hard, it's hard to like cheer for Frenchie, it's really hard to cheer for Starlight at this point because she's just punching people left and right now.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
MM is just kind of just feels like a weak leader,
Yeah, I mean, he's
which
got his rash going on, his stress hives
Mhm.
and stuff. He's definitely it's kind of hinting at like he's not meant to be the leader of this group,
Yeah,
which
and
almost
I'm
makes
like,
you
I
wonder,
don't.
like, who is then? If it's
And then Butcher is, oh my.
yeah, oh, what a mess.
Okay, where do you want to go next? Do we want to talk about like what happened with the boys since we're hinting
Yeah,
on it, or do
might as
we
well
want to go into?
get into that.
Okay, so
Starts with
let's talk Butcher.
them.
Let's talk Butcher first,
Okay,
and we'll go into it. Um, what do you think of Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character?
I like it. Yeah, very suave and just kind of he's like the quintessential like CIA guy that's like the dark side, you know.
Can I go in? Can I go in conspiracy theory
Sure.
for you? I don't think he's real.
You think, oh, I like,
He doesn't interact with any other
yeah,
person. Last scene, like, I feel like it makes it very obvious that he's not real. But I also have a second.
but he
And, you know,
does,
we'll wait on
yeah,
conspiracy.
he does say that like they've met before and stuff though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Who else also talks about how they met and stuff before too? Who is obviously not real?
I don't.
Rebecca.
Oh, his wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's constantly
Oh, it's
talking
just
to
so you're
Rebecca.
saying that you think that he was a real person, but now he's hallucinating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I thought you were saying like making up
Mm-hmm.
the whole
Mm-hmm.
character, but that could track. I could see that. I mean, he's definitely got something going on in his brain. He's got worms in there.
I have a theory of what it is, but I want to talk. I want to let's go through this first, and then we'll talk. I just wanted to mention because in that scene, Jeffrey D. Morgan and Butcher was like, "Hey, let's do this job on our own.
Mm,
Let's do this, just me and you. Just fuck everybody else. These are all the reasons why they all suck." And I think like you have two soups on your team. He's like, "Hey, I'll give you Starlight, but like Kimiko is great.
mm,
She's a great weapon."
mm.
Which no, she's a great person. Butcher, fuck her.
Yeah, right.
She's like the one, like outside of A Train, like she's
I
the
was,
one character that I'm like,
it's funny because I was gonna mention her too. Aside from A Train, that was the other person when I was thinking
I
about.
don't think she's definitely not like the MVP because I don't think she's done
Yeah,
enough,
doesn't
but
have
I
a big
think
enough role, but
she's the one that I'm like, yes, Kimiko, like you're the one person I could cheer for.
mm,
Hughie's starting to get there, like he's working his way back, but
yeah, oh yeah, I love Kimiko.
okay. So Butcher reveals that he knows of a virus that Victoria Newman has,
Mm,
and very much this is the tie-in episode for Gen V, not Gen 5, Gen V.
mm,
And so they go get Edgar from prison. And I don't think I know they mention like him being in prison makes sense when you think about like what happened and why why he disappeared.
mm,
But I didn't know they never like talked about where he was or what he was doing. And I thought this was an interesting moment to like bring him back.
mm. I mean, I'm always
So
happy.
anyway,
Yeah.
they talk about getting him a pardon, which I thought was really like snap they have a pardon. Like they know the president, they talk to the president often. But I feel like there should have been a scene be like, really, Stan Edgar, you're gonna let the Vought guy out?
Right.
Like we
I do.
finally got him
I do
in.
think it does kind of just show the sheer desperation though that they're willing to just like
Mhm.
immediately offer him a pardon if it means helping them.
Did you know? So they talk him in. It's revealed that Victoria Newman juiced her daughter up with V, which kind of get him to the point where like convinces him to join up with them and to figure out where the virus is. They go back to the family farm. Before they get into the van, though, did you recognize the Gus Fring reference?
No, I missed it.
He look at the van. He's like, "This is really dirty. Thank you for this. Do you guys have a towel over the seats?" And it might not just the fact that he asked for a towel. And I think of Gus Fring because like before he like goes to puke out the poison, he puts a towel down on
Oh,
the
holds it
ground.
all up all night.
And yeah, and I'm like, it's either this actor really much like is a very clean person, and I could believe it,
Mm,
or I feel like he's referencing like Gus Fring a little bit.
yeah, it could be a little nod.
Yeah, so it seemed like it was a nod there. I just want to know if you caught it or not.
Um, Can we
So
take one break real quick?
no,
1 second.
no. All right, so getting back to the main
Hmm.
story. So the boys, they go to the farm. They go to Stan Edgar's former rec room, and they find that they're working on the bee,
Around the virus.
um, the virus. And then they go to, I believe, a farm, or Victoria Newman shows up because everyone's bloody. I don't know. It's so weird that she just doesn't murder them all.
Yeah, well, they had, because if she murders them, then they're going to release the fact that she's a soup.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I feel like it's like a misbelief type of thing where like I have to like suspension of misbelief. Like I have to like believe that she's going to like I don't know. It just feels like her character would murder them all
Yeah,
if she's trying to get a
yeah,
like it doesn't seem like
it's a little weak.
not murdering them. Yeah, like it just doesn't seem like that's the threat they're playing with. I think like she genuinely enjoys the boys cuz like they work for her.
Yeah,
So I do like even though like she's a soup and they're trying to kill her, like I do think like I don't know. Is she a good person?
yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, we haven't. Yeah, uh,
Because like I generally enjoy her character, and I honestly like kind of cheer for her.
yeah. I mean, she isn't as outright. I mean, she's definitely not like Homelander. She's not just murdering people for the
No,
sake of
well,
murdering people, but she does at the same time kill a lot of people.
yeah, like I mean, she literally killed everybody in that court scene,
Yep.
and like a lot of it seems like a lot of innocent people died.
Mm.
So it's like hard to be like, yeah, she's like, yeah, good person, but it's like
So the enemy of my
she,
enemy is my friend, kind of thing.
yeah, she's at least neutral, like maybe anti-hero ish.
Yeah. I mean, she's
I don't
anti-Homelander.
know. She is, and but she does also teams up with it. It's
Yeah.
just hard to. She's a hard person to
Yeah.
read.
Yeah. That's fair.
She genuinely cares about Hughie.
Yeah.
I
She
mean,
stole the virus to do what with it
she stole the
exactly?
virus. I
To
think
kill
try to kill
Homelander? Right.
Homelander. Yeah. Her. It seems like her love interest Samir has found was able to replicate it. Right.
I don't know if he replicated it or not, but I think because they were down to like the last bit. So I
Yeah.
don't,
They had a little bit of it.
yeah.
So it seems like they were testing animals to try to kill the animals.
Yeah.
Right. They're furthering.
Yeah, they were injecting the animals with V so they could test the virus on them.
So this is where my confusion is because this is obviously Gen V spoilers, but at this point, I feel like you should be watching Gen V.
Yep.
Um, so Gen V spoilers, just in case you do want to watch the show. In Gen V, the virus is already basically made to kill people,
Yeah, that's that.
and
It does seem
she
like,
has a whole container.
yeah, it does seem like in Gen V, like they had already gotten the virus to a point that it was a
Mhm.
lot more scary than all of a sudden they're like acting like it is.
And now they're
It's
it seemed like maybe she was trying this is my theory. I think she got Samir and some other lab assistants at her farm in a really remote location. She was trying to make it test it and make it kill Homelander.
Yeah, I think that trying to like soup it up specifically for that
Mm,
purpose and not necessarily like because that in Gen V they were trying to make it like as transmissible as possible. And
yep.
maybe that's not their goal anymore to make it like a super virus that just like contaminates everyone, but instead of more of a targeted thing.
Well, if you think about the chickens and the sheep that were in there,
Mm,
they were all Homelander powers.
that's true. Flying around
They
and
were all
strength, yeah.
flying. So I wish they would have developed this more. I do think this is a really weak written episode, at least this part of it, because I feel like they could have been more explained what's going on. Seems like they were just there walking.
Yeah.
So they fought. They go the chicken. They go to the chicken part of the barn, and the chicken just straight up kills a
Yep.
dude,
Just flies right through them.
just right through him, but can't fly through
Yeah, the
doors.
wooden doors are too much. Yeah.
They close the doors, and they're like boom, 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 and I'm like, wait a second.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so they end up walking to the other part of the barn or part of the farm, and as they're walking, Victoria, they all had like different moments. I know, but Stan Edgar was like, "It's surprising that you guys are still alive after all
Hmm.
this." And I don't like. I'm like, one. I think the show is like kind of making fun of the fact that these characters have plot armor
Yeah, some pretty extreme plot
because
armor.
you like a lot of these characters, like a lot of characters have died, but the core of the boys still hasn't. So I think he's making fun of that, but also it's like the most generic joke you can make in that moment too.
Yeah.
Um, and then there was a moment between Victoria Newman and Starlight because Starlight's powers is waning.
Yeah, not working for some
Like
reason.
Spider-Man 2 not
Yep.
working.
She's got a mental
I
block.
thought, do you think that's what it is? It's a mental block?
I mean, what else would it be, I guess?
It does seem like it's a yeah. But I mean, like, she also is losing her shit.
Yeah.
Victoria Newman, I forget what she said, but just like popped her in the mouth.
Yep. Something about
And
yeah.
then my reaction was like, God damn it, Starlight. It's like, you just fucking popping people left and right. Like, she could murder you in an
Mm,
instant. It's like the one person you probably shouldn't pop.
right. She could pop you back.
But again, this is like the third or fourth time they like try to kill her and she just laughs it
Yeah.
off or just like doesn't do anything. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, we'll move on. So they go to the sheep. Oh, there's the bull, and they're scared of the bull, and the sheep out of nowhere just
Murder the bull.
kills them. They find Samir. He has the one little container, the one little vial, and it seemed kind of like, oh, we have one vial, but we also have to escape. I felt like a little weak because I didn't really feel the moment. I didn't feel like they were that much in danger, but they were
Yeah, it was kind of yeah, like weird. Yeah,
contrived.
yeah, contrived stakes. Like, oh, I guess we have to use the virus to escape.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, yeah,
They're protected. They're behind wooden
right. They were
doors.
safe in there. I liked Butcher's idea
You
more.
know, if you
Just run and don't have to outrun all of you. Just gotta outrun one of you.
oh, Butcher, he is. Yeah, we'll get to him in a moment. So they put him. I like Frenchie's joke
Yeah,
too.
I don't know if it was a joke as much as just he's like so gone that he couldn't keep
Oh
up with
no,
it. Yeah,
he's.
how is he gonna fuck the sheep?
We put him into the guy, and then they'll kill him. And they're like, how is he gonna?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's so good.
like that's great. And then Stan Edgar's like, what the fuck's wrong? No, they're just gonna
They're gonna eat him.
eat the
Yeah,
dude. I will say though, it worked.
their plan worked. Yeah,
It worked. They all died, and if they're all Homelander, super supposedly should be able to kill Homelander, right?
yeah. I mean, they are still
I think that's
sheep.
like I think that's the big takeaway here because at the end of it, he captures the dude, chops off his legs, which I feel like is a very sadistic part. But I thought
Just one
about
of
it
his
more.
legs.
Why would you chop off his legs?
Why? Well, the reason why he said it did it was that was the only way they believe he was actually dead, is if there was just like a leg left. Because if he just disappeared, then
Oh,
they probably would have
did they
wondered where he went.
did they explain
That's what
that?
he said. Yeah, that's what he told them.
Oh, never mind. I didn't think they explained
Yeah,
it. I just thought I just okay.
yeah. That's what Butcher
That was
told
just
him at the end. He's like, "You'll be fine. We'll get you fixed up right as rain." But that was the only way they believe you're actually dead.
mm-hmm. And then, of course, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character showed up there too. And I think that was the moment where he was looking, and the guy looked at him like, "What are you doing?" I think that, like, to me, confirmed that, like, he is
Okay,
indeed like.
I didn't catch that when I watched it.
I watched it a
But yeah,
second. I watched this episode twice because I wanted to like. But that was my big thing. I'm like, he's definitely not there. Like,
I mean, it makes sense.
and I
He's
think
losing his mind. He's got brain worms.
so. What do you think those worms are? Because there's one other moment too. I want to
Yeah,
mention.
there's like the rabbit that has like the things coming out of it too, and then he stomps it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, I don't know if it probably doesn't have anything to do with it, but Victoria Newman's daughter also has tentacle
Tentacles.
mouth thing, which was kind of similar to
I didn't
those.
think of that.
Yeah.
Good. What do you think is happening? I have a theory, but I want to know what you think first.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with because we never really learned like how V was made to begin with, like where they got
True, true.
like like this super drug, So maybe there's going to turn out that there's something more to where it's coming from, and now that it's mutating or something because of how it's being used.
So this is what it reminds me of, and this kind of leads into my theory. One, I've been dealing with a lot with illithids,
Mm,
mind flayers. I mean, Stranger Things, obviously, Baldur's Gate as well. Also, my recent D&D podcast, one of the NPCs that got my character got really close to, transformed into mind flayer. It was really tragic for my character.
mm.
But I keep thinking, like, is Butcher infected with an illithid? Or a lithid-like creature? Because it seems that way. He has a worm
Mm,
inside him.
mm.
He is also now hallucinating at least one person, if not two, and also on top of the fact that he mysteriously murdered somebody.
Yeah, they did talk about him killing Ezekiel more in this episode. Kind of
Mm.
brought that up more,
And he's like, I blocked out, and I came
and
to.
he was just a mess
So
everywhere. Yeah, I remember that.
this is my theory. I don't think it's straight up a mind flayer because it doesn't match.
Mm,
But I think this is the show's version of Venom.
yeah, some sort of
I think
uh,
I think we're
parasite.
and it might even go into like how Gen V was created and like how people are getting superpowers. But I do think there is going to be an alternative way to get powers, and it's how Butcher got it. And I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character might be a split personality of his, and maybe when let's say he passes out, he then becomes a super, or he gets the superpowers.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
I think that. Yeah, it is weird about like the rabbit and stuff though. Like, is it
mhm,
like something that's going to happen to more people? Is it because is it something that happens when people get shot up with V when they're older
yeah,
instead of when they're a baby? Because there hasn't
is
been a whole lot of people
interesting
that have done that as
because
adults.
like I just remember watching Butcher looking at the rabbit and him just like being kind of disgusted by it, but not disgusted as like it seemed like he was familiar with it.
Hmm.
It seemed like he looked at it and he was like, "Oh,"
That's what's inside of me. Yeah,
and then he killed it. I don't know. There's so much that were there, and I thought it was just an
that
interesting.
is one of the more interesting storylines I think going on this season for sure. Is
I
wondering
I
what's going
agree
on with Butcher.
because something's happening. That my theory is he has a venom parasite.
Yeah, I think it's definitely some sort of a parasite.
Um, moving forward, let's talk about VOT 52. Clearly making fun of Disney Expo
Yep.
and all.
They have 17 phases planned out and they're going to go into detail about each one.
There's so many jokes. I like wrote notes
Mm.
down because I'm like, there's so many like good jokes here. Like one of like A Train talking about his show training with A Train. One Will
Yeah,
Ferrell
being the
is
coach.
great
Yeah.
in it. But I also just like he's like, man, this show got more reboots and it's now the most expensive television show of all time. It must be good, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're so making fun of Disney here.
Yeah, I like and the Deep's line or whatever, instead of go woke, get broke, go woke, get yoked.
Or what else? Technic was like, hey, it's been a year since my movie. Reboot time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like you guys are so going
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
at
yeah.
Disney right now. Or just like we already talked about what is it? The three black
Yep,
characters.
yeah. Black at it.
Black I just like a little bit of jokes here and there, or firecrackers like, oh Lord, the Lord.
Yeah,
I'm
give
like,
me the
oh God,
strength. Yeah. Yeah. All their
like this
little
is awful.
videos.
But
Yeah.
and then Homelander just tweaking in the background.
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's talk about
Yeah.
Homelander and
Yeah.
Ryan this episode. That's a story worth mentioning. Homelander and Ryan. Ryan talks about how he doesn't want to do the show. He doesn't want to be part of like this teen superhero. And then the director is like, "Well, we already have all the equipment for it." He's like, "Nah, if he doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to do it." It's like, and I'm like, I get the director. Do you think so? With all that playing out, with Ryan basically making the director apologize, and then having the woman slap him,
Yeah.
is Ryan too far gone?
I don't know, because at the same time, his whole thing was when Homelander asked him what he really wanted to do, he said that he wanted to help people for real, like actually save people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I think that he does, and he might be warped into what that means, being manipulated, what it
Mhm.
means to save people, you know.
Like, he has a really good background. His mom's really caring. He even mentioned it, like, "This is what my mom would want
Mhm.
me to do if I were to use my powers." I question if he's too far gone, because if let's say if Homelander either gets killed or if they take him away from Homelander, is that just not make Homelander a murderer in his eyes?
Yeah.
Would he not take the lessons that Homelander has for him?
Yeah, that's tough. It's a matter, yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know.
so I'm just like, I feel like he's too far gone. I feel like no matter what happens, he's gonna go down that path. At least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, having her slap the crap out of him while he smiled there, yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
it's like,
little too far.
you know what another thing I like about this season? Homelander, for the piece of shit that he is, and like, he genuinely cares about Ryan.
Mm,
Like, even though like the lessons he's teaching him and like the messages he's giving to Ryan is really fucked up and really opposite of what his mom told him.
mm.
Like, he's not toxic. He's not abusive. He's generally trying to give Ryan like the
The
best
childhood that he never had.
childhood
Yeah.
while still being the narcissist that he is.
Mhm.
I just I don't know. I'm like, I kind of like Homelander in these moments here, even though like it's still really
Yeah,
fucked up,
it's
but
a
like
weird, yeah, you can
he
tell
does
that, yeah,
care.
you can definitely tell he definitely cares. He sees Ryan as,
Mm,
like, his one, it's almost like his only other person that he considers, like, equal.
yeah. So Sage is in the background. She goes up the A train and she's complaining about the leak.
Mhm. Basically all
She
but
knows,
confirms,
right?
yeah, she basically confirms that she knows that it was him. But I think she's playing her own, like, 4D chess too, so
Hmm. I don't. Do you think?
I guess she would be kinda considered the new villain of the season, right?
Kind of, but I don't.
Even if she's not, like,
I,
an
I
outright villain. She is, like, the new force that's kinda causing problems.
I mean, she's furthering Homelander's agenda and doing it in a very vicious way.
Yeah.
I mean, she sent Firecracker to essentially get beaten, and it seems like her and Firecracker are now at it
Mhm.
because she's like, you knew I was gonna get beaten." Like, yeah, but now you can play the victim for real this time.
Mhm.
I really like that line. Like, you can now you don't have to pretend. You could just be the victim
Mhm.
because you got your ass
Yep.
kicked.
I have a
But
weird
also, like,
respect for Sage, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Like
morally,
yeah, even,
yeah,
like, the first time when she meets with Homelander, the way she talks to him and stuff like that, like, I can respect that.
yeah, like you get it to a degree.
Yeah,
Like, all right,
and also at the same time, the kind of idea of, like, being the smartest person in the world and just, like, not knowing what to do with all that intellect and never being able to, like, do anything with it, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden being given an opportunity to basically do whatever you want. Like, I can kind of understand, like, not being able to pass up an opportunity like that when you're
Mm.
at that level.
Yeah, why would
Mhm.
you? What do you think her end game is? Do you think her end game is with Homelander, or do you think she's going to betray him?
I think she's going to betray him at some point.
Do you think she's going to betray him before she's forced to, or like? Because I know she will if when she's pushed comes to
Mhm.
shove, she will, at least try to push. I don't know. It doesn't seem like she's fully on Homelander,
Mhm. She's more like
but I'm like,
along
I'm
for the
trying to think
ride.
like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm curious what her end game
Well,
is.
yeah, because I mean, I don't think she has a way that she can get rid of Homelander, so she can't, like, turn her back on him and then just exist in the world with him. It's like the only way that she can
She's got
outright, like, turn on him would be if he's taken out of
Mhm.
the picture at the same time.
Yeah. And then, so the last little bit too, A Train and Ashley.
Mm,
A Train basically
unlikely
told her that,
partnership.
like, hey, and it's like, hey, if I go down, you go down. I need you to help me.
Mm.
And a weird power dynamic. And then she even said, like, I'm not part of this rebellion train. Of course, A Train is like, yeah, no, you
Yeah, oh,
are.
yeah, you are now. Yeah,
You took one shit in the toilet, you are now part
yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah. Double decker, gotcha.
And now, and then, yeah, Tucker Carlson of the Vought universe is
Offered up as
now
a
got
sacrifice.
beaten.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just an interesting. Where do you think that's going to play out between A Train and Ashley?
Well, I think that they're like two people that have a lot of intimate knowledge of Vought
Mm-hmm.
and are able to, get certain things and whatnot that they wouldn't be able to have access to before. I don't.
Yeah,
I do see A Train probably end up being like dead, though, like a heroic sacrifice kind of thing. Like comes out and finally goes
I
against Homelander just to get absolutely destroyed.
I made the prediction that A Train's dead. Like I don't think he makes it out of the
Yeah,
season. I think he
I don't think
dies.
so. I think
And
in a redeeming way, I think he will be fully redeemed upon his death.
I think he will be redeemed in a way. He is redeemed already with Hughie. I think he will do something vital that helps the
Mhm.
boys and gives them the edge that they need. But I think he dies doing
Yep.
it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption.
But who knows? The boys might also be like, "Aha, you think that?"
Yeah, right. He makes it to the
Oh,
end. Yeah, or he just does a
uh,
triple turn and goes back to the side of the Homelander and Vought.
what if Homelander's just like booking it in one direction, and A Train just happens to be he steps 1 foot off the curb and dies that way.
It just gets blown out. I mean, Homelander's not
Like,
super fast like that, is he? Though, not like Superman.
I mean, he's super fast and flying.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So I guess it's
So
basically the
I mean,
same thing. I
if
guess.
those two run into each other, I don't know. What do you think about the Gen V cameos with Sam and Kate and Techna?
Yeah, it was a little weak, to be honest.
Underwhelming.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how I thought. I thought these characters would have more, but there was the speech at the end that might lead to them being doing bigger things.
yeah,
And then obviously the killing of the sacrificial lamb of Tucker Carlson. I forget the guy's actual
yeah,
name.
irrelevant.
Cameron
Oh
Coleman.
yeah, yeah.
Cameron
There you
Coleman. I have it in front of me. I should just read it. I thought his speech was interesting. Where like you're no longer beloved celebrities. You are wrathful
Yeah,
gods.
that part was interesting.
And there's one part in the comics where Homelander and his team of superheroes do take the White House, and I think that's what's happening.
So we're building to that.
And there is so let's talk predictions. 'Cause the only other thing that we really have to talk about is the fact that Frenchie gives himself up
Yep.
stupidly,
Yeah.
and it sounds like a stupid Frenchie thing to do.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, 1 second. All right, so the next 3 episodes called "Dirty Business," "The Insider," and "Assassination Run." And I have a feeling that Singer is going to be the target, if not dead,
By the end.
by the end of episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, something's got to give. Right now, they're at kind of like a stalemate almost, like, or at least like they're
Mhm.
pushing against each other. So it's got to go one way or the other. And this is the penultimate season, so it's not going to go the way of the good guys, if you call them the good guys.
Yeah. Where do you think this ends?
The show or the season?
The
The
season.
season. Uh, I'm not really sure, to be honest. Like, at what point, like what more is going to happen? I guess the season's been kind of
I
weird. I don't know if we'll get
I
like a
think
reveal
Singer.
of what's going on with Butcher by the end, or if that'll be left into the next season. Or
I think Bobby Boy continues the tradition of dying in an Eric Kripke show. I think he gets assassinated, and I think the poster of Homelander
spoilers.
and Victoria Newman. This is conspiracy
Yeah,
theory.
yeah.
I don't
Well, no,
know.
I'm saying spoilers for Supernatural.
Sorry. They also meet Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
They,
That's the one episode I
yeah,
watched.
it's a hit. It's a good episode.
It is. My sister yelled at me like, "You can't watch that episode if you haven't watched the rest of Supernatural." I'm like, yes, I did. I just
Yeah,
did.
I mean, it's definitely like a
It was
spin-off
great.
episode, like a
It
standalone one.
is. It is. Um, I think Victoria Newman is the president at the end of this, and I think Homelander is vice president, if not kill. I don't know. I think he works his way as the president of the United States
By the end of the season.
He,
I mean, that
I
would put
think
him
he either
at the even higher threat than he is, even though I don't know how much that really gets you when you're already above the law and can do whatever you want.
what's the word for it? The allegory.
Yeah,
Does that work?
yeah.
Like he's the allegory of Trump, right?
Mhm.
Like that's the reference.
Definitely the
So
season.
if you take it to its fullest, he becomes president.
Yep.
And I think that's where they're leading to. I think he either takes it by force, January 6th style, or he becomes the vice president of Newman.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good
And
prediction.
A-Train dies.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good prediction.
Maybe A-Train dies trying to save the White House or like help with I don't know. That is my prediction. Anything else, Brandon?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I think at that we should call it good.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Brandon.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. Stay tuned. We will be talking to Acolyte if I have enough time, at least on this episode. Otherwise, I will do it in a separate episode that I will release Tuesday. All right. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.